Ever felt overwhelmed by the chaos of the world around you? The stock market plunging, global tensions rising, and problems you have no control over? What if I told you there's a way to navigate through this storm? Not by controlling everything outside of you, but by mastering what's within your reach. In today's video, we'll uncover 8 powerful Stoic techniques that will help you take back control of your life and find peace in the midst of chaos. The world is vast, and it's full of things we can't control. The stock market fluctuates unpredictably, trade wars escalate, and military conflicts unfold, things that make us feel powerless. It's painful to invest so much emotional energy in issues that are beyond our grasp. But here's the good news. While you can't change the world, you can change yourself. You have control over your actions, your reactions, your habits, your mindset, the hundreds of things that are directly within your control. And that's not all. Even in a world full of uncertainty, you can still influence things that matter with your choices, your money, your support, your time, your blood, sweat, and tears. The key is knowing how to do it smartly, by focusing on the things you can actually change. That's the focus of our video today. Using the ancient wisdom of the Stoics, we're going to guide you through 8 powerful techniques that will help you reclaim control of your mind and your life. These aren't just abstract ideas, they are actionable tools that can lead you to a more focused, peaceful life. Let's break it down. Point 1. We'll dive into the dichotomy of control, teaching you how to stop wasting emotional energy on things you can't change. Point 2. We'll show you how to create effective change, because you have more power than you think. Point 3. We'll explore the view from above, helping you gain perspective by zooming out and seeing the bigger picture. Point 4. We'll discuss how the obstacle is the way. That challenge in your path? It's actually guiding you toward growth. Point 5. We'll introduce negative visualization, the counterintuitive power of imagining the worst-case scenario to protect yourself from disappointment. Point 6. We'll reflect on memento mori, the idea of remembering that life is finite, not to make you morbid, but to help you live more fully. Point 7. We'll talk about voluntary discomfort, choosing the hardest path that will bring you the greatest rewards. Point 8. Finally, we'll show you the strategy of list making to help you focus and stay organized. But it all starts with our first point. If any of this is going to work, the first thing you must do is focus on what you can actually change. Right now, you might be spending precious emotional energy on things you can't influence in a meaningful way. And that's what makes life feel heavy and overwhelming. You can't control the economy's ups and downs. You can't control your neighbor's barking dog, the effects of climate change, or whether Netflix cancels your favorite show. By focusing on what's within your control, you can regain your energy and peace of mind. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive deeper into the first technique, the dichotomy of control. Ready to stop wasting energy and start mastering what you can change? Let's go. Continuing from where we left off, we've learned that focusing on what's in our control is the key to breaking free from frustration. Now, let's explore how to channel our energy effectively and create meaningful change. There are so many things in life we can't control: the economy, the weather, the actions of others. These are things that often drain our mental and emotional energy. But here's the good news: you can control your reactions, your habits, where you direct your attention, the effort you put in, how you interpret events, the meaning you assign to them, the boundaries you set, and the conversations you start. These are things you can control, and they matter. Unfortunately, most people spend years, sometimes even decades, agonizing over things beyond their reach. We get lost in the noise of things that we can't change in. In doing so, we miss out on focusing on what really matters. So, how do we escape this trap of feeling powerless? It starts with accepting a brutal truth. Our sphere of influence is tiny compared to the vast universe of things we care about. And when you truly accept this, really accept it, it brings a profound sense of liberation. Because, when you stop exhausting yourself trying to fight battles you can't win, you free up the energy you need for the fights that matter, the ones where your actions make a real tangible difference. Your job isn't to control the uncontrollable, because, honestly, you can't. Your job is to focus your finite energy on what you can actually change. It's about practicing the ancient art of letting go of everything else. Now, this might sound simple, but it's not. No one does it perfectly. And that's okay. The key is to keep trying, learning, and improving. Over time, you will begin to focus on what truly matters. Now, here's the good news that comes with this truth. There is a lot you can control. Most people get stuck in a false binary. Either they're utterly powerless, or they believe they need complete control over everything. That's a lie. The truth is much more nuanced and much more empowering. You have a tremendous capacity to create change. It's just that you've been looking in the wrong places. When people fixate on changing things beyond their control, they waste their power. Meanwhile, their genuine influence, their real power, sits untapped, gathering dust. Your real power lies in your consistent, deliberate actions, your thoughtful responses, your strategic choices, and your unwavering persistence. Most people understand this concept intellectually, but fail to implement it in practice. They oscillate between resignation, nothing I do matters, and magical thinking, if I just worry enough, maybe things will change. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Effective change requires methodical, sustained effort in the places where your actions will have a ripple effect. It's time to abandon the seductive fantasy that you can control everything. Instead, focus your energy on the areas where your actions can truly make a difference. Look at anyone who's created meaningful change in their life. They didn't waste energy lamenting what they couldn't influence. They identified exactly where they could apply pressure, then pushed relentlessly, strategically, and with laser focus. Now that we've discussed how to channel your energy effectively, let's dive deeper into how you can begin creating real, meaningful change in your life. Ready to take the next step? Let's explore the powerful tools you can use to make that shift today. Picking up from our last point, we learned that instead of exhausting ourselves trying to control the uncontrollable, we need to focus on the things that truly respond to our efforts. Now, let's take the next step in creating meaningful change in your life. Stop wasting energy trying to move immovable objects. Instead, focus on finding the levers that actually respond to your touch, and then pull them with everything you've got. This leads us to our next point, which builds on what we've just discussed. In order to create real change, you need to step back and see the whole picture. This is our third point. Be ready to zoom out to maintain balance and get your most important work done. If you don't zoom out, chances are you'll get lost in the minutiae of life. You'll get caught up in the details that seem urgent but aren't actually important in the grand scheme of things. The email that offended you, the promotion that someone else got, the way your voice cracked during your presentation. It's so easy to blow these things out of proportion until they take up all the space in your mind, leaving you completely consumed by them. This is what happens when we get stuck in tunnel vision. We make mountains out of molehills and completely lose sight of the larger mountains surrounding us. This is why it's so important to zoom out. The Stoics had a perfect antidote for this. They practiced what Marcus Aurelius called the view from above. It's the practice of mentally stepping back and seeing your life, your problems, and everything else from a bigger perspective. In your own life, take a moment to reflect. Yes, there are difficulties, but there are also positives. You have a job history, which means you could apply for a similar role if needed. You have an education, professional connections from the past, and possibly even ideas on how to make money. Maybe you have savings or even a home. These things are part of your life too. They are your positives, and they balance out the negatives. If you never take the time to zoom out, you could spend your entire life fixated on daily irritations, perceived slights, and small wins. All you'll see are your immediate concerns. No wonder so many people feel anxiety. Without perspective, even minor setbacks can feel apocalyptic. But when you take a step back and adopt the view from above, you're able to see not just your problems, but the interconnected whole of your life, including the good parts. You start to recognize patterns, understand that suffering is universal, and appreciate how temporary everything truly is. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, try this. Close your eyes and visualize yourself rising above the situation. See your problems getting smaller, distant even. Notice how your perspective shifts when you come back to earth. With this wisdom, you'll see the bigger picture, the balanced whole that's always been there, waiting for your notice. So, take a moment to look up and consider all that you have, along with the many positive possibilities still ahead. And yet, for all that Stoicism teaches us to maintain perspective, it's also about realism. Sometimes, in life, obstacles will appear, and that brings us to our fourth point: the obstacle is the way. Embrace the very things that block your path. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, spoke powerfully about this concept. Let's unpack it together. Now that we've explored how to gain perspective, let's dig deeper into how the obstacles we face can actually lead to growth and transformation. Ready? Let's continue. Picking up from our last point about perspective, let's explore how the obstacles in our path can often be the key to unlocking the next chapter of growth and transformation. Obstacles, they might feel like walls. But what if they're actually doorways? What if the very resistance we face is guiding us towards something better? The Stoics believed that obstacles do more than just block our way, they reveal opportunities we might otherwise miss. They force us to develop new skills, test our strengths, and refine our character. In fact, many times, the resistance we encounter is pointing us in the right direction, even when it feels like we're stuck. So, the next time you're banging your head against a wall, take a step back and really look at it. What you might see as a roadblock is actually a signpost, a clear direction pointing you directly toward your growth. Most people, when faced with an obstacle, retreat. They complain. They believe the universe is conspiring against them. But this line of thinking is simply nonsense. The obstacle isn't telling you to stop. It's shining a light on exactly where you need to focus your attention. Let's think about how we build physical strength. Muscles don't develop without resistance. The more resistance you face, the stronger you become. If there's no resistance, there's no growth. Your life's obstacles work in the same way. They're resistance training for your character, your creativity, and your resilience. For example, if your career has stalled, that's information about where your skills need development. Relationship troubles? They're revealing exactly which emotional areas need strengthening. Health problems? They show you the ways you've been neglecting your body's needs. The obstacle isn't a cosmic accident or bad luck. It's a teacher, one that can teach you something invaluable, if only you're willing to learn. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. The transformation that comes from facing these obstacles is rarely easy. But the discomfort? It's a sign of growth. And this brings us to our fifth point. You already know that difficulties are part of life. But here's the paradox. To make life easier, try imagining the difficulties you may face ahead of time. I know, it sounds strange. You've probably been told all your life to think positively, to visualize success, and to focus on the good. But if we're honest, where has that gotten you? Probably blindsided over and over when things inevitably fall apart. So, why not try something different? The Stoics had a radically different approach. They called it premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This is the practice of deliberately imagining worst-case scenarios, not to manifest them, but to prepare for them. Most people avoid thinking about potential disasters because it feels uncomfortable. They believe, almost superstitiously, that by contemplating something bad, they might somehow make it happen. But this approach sets us up for an unrealistic world where only good things happen. The problem, of course, is that this isn't reality. Your thoughts don't control the external world, but they absolutely control how you respond to it. So, here's a powerful exercise to try. Take whatever you value most in life, your job, your relationship, your health, your home, and vividly imagine losing it. Really sit with that thought. What would the first day be like? What would the first week feel like? How would you handle it? This practice is incredibly clarifying. It strips away the illusion that anything you have is guaranteed, and helps you approach life with greater resilience, knowing that even when things go wrong, You have the strength to adapt. As we continue, let's explore how this Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum can not only help you prepare for challenges but also transform how you navigate them. Ready to face life with more clarity and control? Let's move on. Picking up from our last discussion on how premeditation of worst-case scenarios can transform your approach to life. Let's dive into how confronting life's impermanence can lead to greater freedom and vitality. By regularly visualizing potential losses and difficulties, you begin to unlock some surprisingly positive outcomes. First, you develop contingency plans that make you genuinely resilient, allowing you to handle life's challenges with greater ease. Second, you begin to appreciate the things you currently have with much more intensity. And finally, when you face your worst fears directly, you discover something powerful. They lose much of their hold over you. The most resilient people aren't the ones who avoid negative thoughts or try to protect themselves from pain. They are the ones who've stared their worst-case scenarios in the face and said, "Even this, I can survive." When anxiety creeps in, when your mind starts to spiral with what ifs about what might go wrong, don't push those thoughts away. Instead, examine them. Ask yourself, what would I do if this actually happened? This exercise helps you regain control over your fears and empowers you to prepare for them, rather than letting them control you. This brings us to our sixth point, memento mori, remembering death so that you may truly live. Now, most people go through life acting as if they have an unlimited amount of time. But wake up, your time is running out. As the Stoics pointed out, a large part of the death you fear has already happened. The past decades of your life are, in a sense, already dead. They're gone. You've lived them. They aren't coming back. If you think about death not as something that happens all at once, but rather as something that comes in parts, you'll realize that part of your death has already arrived. The Stoics practiced memento mori, frequently reminding themselves of their mortality. They kept skulls on their desks. They visualized their deaths daily, and they constantly reminded themselves of life's fleeting nature. While most people live as though they'll never die, wasting years on trivial pursuits, the Stoics understood that this ignorance of life's brevity wouldn't protect them from the truth. Truthfully, there's a better way. Confronting your mortality doesn't have to be morbid, it can invigorate you. It strips away all the superficial concerns and forces you to face what truly matters. Imagine this: if you knew you had just 1 year left to live, would you waste another minute on petty resentments? Would you stay in that soul-crushing job that drains your spirit? Would you keep postponing the difficult conversation, the life change, the leap you know you need to make? Here's a radical shift in perspective. Live each day as if you've already died and been granted one more chance to experience life. Feel the miracle of your lungs filling with air. See the extraordinary beauty in the simplest, most ordinary moments. Now that you understand your time is limited, what will you do with it? This brings us to our seventh point. To truly maximize the value of your time, embrace hardship by choice. In today's world, we all build comfort fortresses around ourselves, temperature-controlled homes, on-demand entertainment, food delivered with just a tap of a button. But here's the truth: true growth and fulfillment lie beyond the boundaries of comfort. Let's explore how choosing discomfort, intentionally stepping out of your comfort zone, can unlock a deeper sense of purpose and resilience. Ready to embrace the challenge? Let's dive into it. Continuing from where we left off, we've seen how essential it is to embrace discomfort and challenge. Now, let's dive deeper into how this practice can truly change the way we approach life. We often wonder why we crumble when real adversity hits. The answer lies in the way we prepare, or rather, in how most of us don't prepare at all. The ancient Stoics were mental athletes who trained relentlessly by voluntarily subjecting themselves to discomfort. They didn't wait for hardship to arrive uninvited. Instead, they issued formal invitations, welcoming it right through their front doors. This is the complete opposite of how the average person handles discomfort. Most people spend their lives avoiding challenges, doing everything they can to escape difficulty, and then feel blindsided when inevitable obstacles appear. But Stoicism flips this narrative entirely. Voluntary discomfort says, I will choose hardship on my terms, before it chooses me on its terms. Think about this. It's sleeping on the floor occasionally to remind yourself that you don't need luxury to rest. It's fasting to prove to yourself that hunger isn't an emergency. It's exercising in terrible weather to demonstrate that you can be uncomfortable and still function beautifully. The key here is turning your attention to the things you don't want to do but know you need to do. Look at what you've been avoiding, the tasks, the challenges, the hard conversations, and then do them. When you deliberately practice being uncomfortable, when you choose the hardest, most meaningful task and commit to doing it anyway, something transformative happens. You'll find that you can handle what you once feared, and in doing so, you'll stop stressing about it altogether. This is what the most capable people do. They don't necessarily face the fewest challenges. Instead, they have subjected themselves to countless small hardships, building unshakable confidence in their ability to endure. And, when the time comes, they face the tasks they've been avoiding and rise to the top because of it. But how do you bring all this together? This leads us to our eighth and final point: to truly maximize your ability to focus, you need to make lists. The average mind is like a tornado, full of competing priorities and half-formed ideas. Maybe you end your day wondering where the time went, buried under the weight of unfinished tasks. And yet, you resist the simplest solution: making a list. You might think lists are basic, boring, or beneath you. Maybe you create lists only to abandon them, starting fresh each week with lists that grow dusty before they're discarded. But I'm here to tell you, this is a mistake. You're not seeing list making for what it really is: a superpower. Your brain is a brilliant idea generator but a terrible storage system. It was never designed to hold an entire lifetime's worth of commitments. A list is a strategic psychological intervention. It's a way of tricking your distractible mind into sustained focus. It helps turn fleeting intentions into tangible reality. Your mind craves structure. Your intentions need commitment. Your projects demand completion. And the humble list answers all three. Start simple. Make just one list. Keep it visible. Review it daily. And choose what goes on it with care. Mark the most important tasks. Then, start working through it, one item at a time. It's that simple, and equally effective. People who make lists focus better, accomplish more, and feel more in control of their lives. Start today, and you'll see the results flow in. Your future self will thank you. So, let's recap the 8 powerful techniques you can use to take back control of your mind and life. Focus on what you can actually change. Recognize your power to create change. Use the view from above to gain perspective. See obstacles as the way forward. Practice negative visualization to prepare for challenges. Remember death to truly live. Embrace voluntary discomfort to strengthen yourself. Make lists to enhance your focus and productivity. In conclusion, start by accepting what you can and cannot control. Channel your energy into what really matters. Don't waste your finite time on things beyond your influence. Begin with just one technique today. See how it feels, and gradually build on it, one day at a time. We'll be back with more Stoic wisdom in our next video to help you navigate your daily struggles. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can join our Stoic community. Your likes and comments help others find these tools when they need them most. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The power is in your hands. Now go out there and start practicing Stoic wisdom to build the best life you possibly can. Ready to dive deeper? Join us in the next video as we continue to explore these timeless principles.